It's Larry Harris.
And the fans go crazy.
Yeah.
And the fans go crazy.
Yeah.
Larry. Oh, yeah.
You know, a lot of people should get down there. There's like thousands and thousands of people here.
Throngs.
It's
incredible.
It's buzzing.
Standing room only.
Yeah, everybody
You're kind of blowing our flow a little bit.
Yeah,
We've been trying to sell it up big.
And everybody wants to know who you're going to pick tonight. Who are you guys going to pick tonight,
Right
Larry?
on the spot, Larry.
Well, the good thing is I can tell you guys tomorrow night because we don't have to do anything tonight.
Gotcha.
Right? So ask me that question tomorrow night. I'll let you know.
So you guys are just sitting around eating pizza then tonight, right?
Well,
Not
we
doing anything.
We were until you called me over.
We interrupted you. What is the process? I bet people wonder that. I mean, everybody's here. You're all like, obviously, you got to be ready. What is the process tonight?
Well, I was talking to Raymond. It's pretty much a system that we've done now probably for the last 8 to 10 years. We probably bring our whole staff in 3 days before the draft, which today is Wednesday. So everybody kind of came in Saturday. So we're working Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We get our board set by Tuesday night. Now, sometimes that's done by 7:30. Could be 8:30. It's been as late as midnight. This year, having the 52nd pick was a little bit of a challenge to just get everybody on if we were picking 10, you could go, okay, I got this select group of people. When you're looking at 52, we have roughly about 80 people that we were looking at. And then just kind of dwindling that down to getting our board set, the first 58 picks. We did that all the way till last night about 8:30. Sent everybody home, got together about 9 o'clock, started this morning, and just finished up about 2:30 with a smaller group. So we take the big group, all of that's probably about 20 people. Everybody gets their say. We put that the board to bed Tuesday night. Everybody sleeps. We get up. We meet with Joe in a smaller group today for about 3-4 hours. We just finished that up. So our board's set. We're ready to go and waiting for the draft here in less than 2 hours.
Okay.
So less than 2 hours for the first round, and as you mentioned, you don't have a first-round pick, but that doesn't mean that you're not, answering calls and maybe possibly looking to see what you can do to move up or taking calls. So what's it like tonight with no pick? Is it still an active thing where each and every selection you're kind of on the edge of your seat trying to see what might happen?
Well, I don't know. It's so much that is that we're getting a lot of calls leading up to today, and even today, where people trying to still see are there players on our roster that we would be willing to trade to get into the first round? And right now we haven't had anything that's, that any great substance to be able to do that. So even though teams are calling, hey, would you want 20, 25, 22, what can we get for this guy, blah, blah, blah. So we've gone through all of those early calls. But right now at 2 o'clock, it's, 2 o'clock, I guess, Eastern, or 2 o'clock Pacific, it shuts down. We can't make any trades now until, the draft starts up. But it's how we're going to view the first round is there'll be calls that are made trying to acquire some of our players that are under contract. We haven't made any calls yet to acquire a pick in the first round. I would say that unless something happens between now and 15 minutes until I go back into our meetings, I don't anticipate us getting into the first round today. That's not to say at some point, the first, second, third pick, there's somebody we're excited about that's falling after 15 or 20. Because our board is set. There's some guys we like in the first round. Like if we did have the 14th pick, we would be excited about at least 3 or 4 players at that spot. But obviously we don't have that. We just have a championship instead, so it was a good trade for us. But in the second round,
a great flex.
Right.
That was impressive.
But on Thursday it's going to be interesting. It's the first time it's a 2-part deal. Kind of don't know what to expect, but I think the one thing we're going to take, in the process is once the first round's done, our board is set. So I would anticipate there's probably going to be anywhere from 8 to 10 guys, maybe 6, that we have on our board, like we did Trace Jackson Davis, who we had at 12 or 13 last year, to slip all the way down. There'll probably be 3 or 4 guys that we have higher than what the NBA landscape looks like, and we'll start getting more focused in what guys can really slip down and get to us at 52.
Warriors player personnel, Larry Harris is with us here, 95.7 The Game, Willard and Dibs, Team Store, Chase Center, NBA Draft Round 1. Look, let's get this out of the way, because what a lot of fans are thinking about right now, and I just wonder how the organization is navigating a situation where you've got a franchise legend who might be a free agent, and you've also got your own set of priorities to deal with. So I know you can't get into specifics, but that sort of emotional situation we've arrived at. How do you all deal with that?
Well, I think it's difficult because there's emotion on both sides, right? I will say this: I think both sides want to find something that can come to a common ground and get an agreement done. But that's what free agency is all about. We really don't know what's going to transpire with it. But I think Steve stated it well. I think Mike stated it well, and we believe in the organization. It comes from Joe as well. We'd like to have Klay back. I mean, there's no question about that. So, but we're here in the next 3 or 4 days. We'll see if something can come about. But we're prepared either way. But obviously, our choice is to bring him back.
The Trace Jackson-Davis piece, and you just mentioned it before, you had him at 12 to 14 on your first-round board, and he slides, and then you get to, 19, and you had Podziemski there. Was there a thought to maybe fire on Trace there, or did you think that maybe the slide was so profound that he might be there in the second round as he was eventually in the late 50s?
Well, I mean, I think
you got two guys who were amazing in one draft.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't always happen that way, right? If you're in it long enough, there's some mistakes you make along the way, and hopefully you make you make better ones than the ones you don't.
Go back to some of those.
We don't even know those anymore.
Yeah.
There's so much in the past.
Totally.
But I would say last year was unique in the sense that the board was set. We had Brandon first and Trace second. So it was easy when it came down. You just kind of crossing people off. There's our guy. We're at 19. Boom, we take him. Once that happened, we looked at our board and Trace was still there. Then once we got to 24, 25, 26, he was still there. And that's when really Mike activated himself and started. He's like, hey guys, let's call every team from 31 down. What can we do to acquire the pick? What will it take? What will it take? And finally, Washington. Obviously, we have some relationships with some people that were there, and we were able to, because of our relationship, which is really strong, obviously, with Trace's relationship, being his agent's the same last name as our GM, it helps. Relationships matter in any walk of life, in any business, and certainly it came into play here. And so the fact that we knew that we liked him so much and had him so high on our board that we were going to be willing to offer him a contract rather than just a two-way or some kind of other incentive, that I think that was able to push him down further, because you'll see in the second round, I don't know when it'll happen, but you'll start seeing these players that are drafted. If they're not drafted and stashed somewhere, there's a lot of two-way options. And we, because of Joe's commitment financially, said, look, if you really like this guy and you have him ranked so high, then I'll give you the authority to go ahead and sign him. Once that was given to us by Joe, then it was a lot easier to help us get him down the line. Because let's say, Atlanta calls at 31 and says, hey, Trace, we want you. It's a two-way. No, next. And it kept, all they had to do was say no, 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 no. And at that point, teams are in 2 minutes. They're like, well, the guy didn't want to come on a two-way. We got someone else, right? So they just flipped it. And fortunately for us, we were just able to hold on, and the agent did a good job with it. And we're very fortunate, and a guy we think has a bright future with us.
Larry, we get probably an equal number of comments from observers of the organization who say, boy, if Draymond doesn't get suspended, they would have been right there. And others who will say, they didn't even end up making the playoffs at all. What is your take on how close the current roster is, or what changes might be necessary to actually compete at a high level?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's when you're in a situation that it's a competitive environment and you're used to winning championships or playing in the finals, you always say, well, what, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I think we've moved beyond that now. I think where Mike's really, even though we were disappointed, and there was a point where, boy, Steph was, missed a few games, and we didn't have Wiggins because of his situation, and Draymond has that, and we had some others. So all you start totaling all that up, but all other 29 teams are doing that, right? So I think we moved beyond that, and we just realized, hey, we got two big situations. We got a thing with Chris, we got a thing with Klay. We've got to deal with that. But then we also have some holes in our roster that we need to fill. Obviously, Gary coming back filled one of the roles. Looney coming back, that obviously gives us some more insurance on the front line. But we know we still we're trying to acquire a shooting big. We know we need to get better in the backcourt defensively to help Steph and them. So I think if today, what I have, the landscape, if I'm looking at our roster in front of us and telling our fans, I think you're going to see quite a few players return. Now we'll try to improve on the margins. If we can go make a home run, which Joe has no problem doing, we will do that. But right as of today, I think it's internally building our guys, getting them better, elevating our young guys. We know that they can play. We know they've played in meaningful games, and hopefully Wiggins will be a little bit better. And Draymond's situation is in the past, and just having that more continuity another year together with our younger guys, I think the future is still bright, a chance to compete for a championship, and that's what I think our fans deserve, and that's what we want to try and give them.
Larry, thank you so much for stopping by on a really, really busy day.
No problem. Enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Valkyries, I like it. Hope everybody comes here. You should get some of that.
I know a guy who can hook you up with a T-shirt if you need it. I got Juice in the building.
Well,
so.
I tell you, the fans should be excited about that, too. It's going to be a great thing.
As you know.
Yeah.
And I just want to thank the thousands of fans that were out here that came to listen to me today. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
Go Warriors.
Keep it down.
Go
Look
Warriors.
at this gathering. Look at this gathering.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Larry.
All right.
Thank you.
The Harris Army.
Larry
Thanks,
Harris, assistant GM, player personnel, Warriors, joining us here at the team store on 95.7 The Game. What